What's up? Hello, my name is Liz, and you are watching For Booking Out Loud. So today is a tag day, to say the least, and it's also about halfway through the year. So I've decided to say, screw all my other tags and let's just go into the mid-year book freakout tag. Because why not? Everyone else is doing it, and I want to participate. Right? Right. So this is my first mid-year book freakout tag. And so if I do anything weird or do anything wrong, it's my channel and I do what I want. There you go. From my understanding, there are 13 questions, and I'm just going to go in order, and we are going to get through this, and it's going to be a lot of fun because we're halfway through the book year, reading year. We're halfway through 2021, and it's just going to be really fun to take a look back on all the reading that I have done and kind of anticipate what is happening for the rest of the year. So here we go, and let's get into it. So question 1, best book you've read so far. And I will have to say I did just finish a tier ranking on my 9 best books sorted, and I will link that above and below like always. I will have to add, I recently just finished Beartown by Frederick Brockman, and I will be adding that to that list in the future. So it's not completely up to date, but it is mostly up to date. So right now I have 10 best books, so I can't really pare it down to one. So cheating, there you go. Such is life. And then I have question number 2, best sequel you've read so far. And I will have to say, I read Delicates last year by Brianna Tumler, I want to say her last name is pronounced. And she came out with Delicates, which is the second in the sequel. And it's this graphic novel series, which is so beautiful, and it tackles really important topics, especially in, I think it's a middle grade or YA graphic novel series. And she does it quite well. And Delicates just kind of blew me out of the water. Loved Sheets. Delicates was amazing. I've read a lot of series this year. Let's just point that out there. But Delicates was something that I think I'll always go back to. It's currently in my classroom. That's why it's not on my shelves or why I'm not displaying it. So that my students can read it next year and I won't forget to give it to them. That's how much I like it. Ooh, question 3. A new release you haven't read yet but want to. So, Later by Stephen King came out last spring. This past spring. I shouldn't say last spring. This past spring. And from my understanding, it's Stephen King's latest paranormal book. I've been trying to stay away from a lot of spoilers, but I just haven't gotten a chance to pick it up. I need to. It should be one of my more recent reads, but it is not, and that is completely on me, but such is life. But it is something I will get to in the future before this year ends for sure. Okay, and then for most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And this one was pretty hard for me because there's a lot of books. Okay, I shouldn't say a lot of books. A couple of books coming out in August that I'm pretty excited for. But overall, I have to say, I think it's coming out this year. Wait, let me check before I say something completely wrong. Oh, wow. So this book's actually also coming out in August, so whatever. But My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones is coming out in the later half of this year, and I am very excited for it. I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea the plot, the Genre, more than likely horror. It's Stephen Graham Jones. But he is such a phenomenal writer. I don't know how he does these descriptions, but he is great at them. And I'm very, very excited to see that new book come out and read it, honestly. Question 5 is biggest disappointment of the year. And there's no brainer. If I'm going to be honest, it's going to be Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I picked this book up as a buddy read with someone, and we both had a really hard time getting through it. And we picked it up because it was really hyped. It's a very beloved book, not just on BookTube, but I believe on Book Talk. Not too in depth on Book Talk, if I'm going to be honest there. But The Cruel Prince is supposed to be this wonderful romance YA fantasy thing. And I thought I'd be all over it, and it was not for me. Yeah, let's just say it was not for me. I ended up giving it I think at 1.5 or 2 stars, and that was being very generous. I would not suggest it. Let's just go with that. I would not suggest this book to anyone in the future. But on the other hand, the next question, question 6, is the biggest surprise. And I'm going to go back to one of my favorite books from this year so far is The Last Night in Montreal by Emily St. John Mendel. I loved Station 11 by Emily St. John Mendel. And then I did this whole exploring Emily St. John Mendel thing where I read all of her books, and I did not like any other book besides Station 11. And then I was like, okay, I gotta finish her bibliography and read her final book that I haven't read yet, Last Night in Montreal, and then I'll be done with her and I'll just like Station 11. Lo and behold, I love Last Night in Montreal. I don't know what it is. Emily St. John Mendel is a phenomenal writer. I might not like her other books, but she is a phenomenal writer. And Last Night in Montreal, there was just something about it which spoke to me, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the characters, and the way she ended that book made that book for me. And yes, that was a surprise for me, to say the least. Now, number 7, favorite new author. He's new to me, but I would have to say Frederick Bachman to me this year. I picked up my first book by Frederick Bachman kind of out of the blue, Anxious People, earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. It wasn't one of my favorite books, to say the least, but I wanted to continue reading him, and so I picked up The Deal of a Lifetime, which is a novella, I want to say, or a short story. I want to say it's a novella, and it is one of my favorite books of this year, hands down. It was beautiful, made me cry, made me laugh. The amount of story he put into that book was incredible, and I loved it. And now I'm kind of on a deep dive into Frederick Bachman, and I just finished another book by him, and I just loved it, and I'm going to basically read everything by him by the time this year is over. There you go. And then question 8 is newest fictional crush. None. I don't get fictional crushes, if I'm going to be honest. I like characters, I just don't get romantic interests in them, if that makes sense. Yeah. But number 9, newest favorite character. So this is hard for me because as of filming this video, I've read 128 books this year. So I've been introduced to a lot of new characters. However, after thinking, and this might explain a lot about me because I love to basically be mean to myself and feel pain But I would have to say my new favorite character is Kelsier from the Final Empire in the Mistborn series. Yeah. He was amazing. His story arc was phenomenal in that book, and I really liked him. We're just gonna move on to a book that made me cry. Question 10. So this is one, sorry that got real close to the screen right there. But this is the most recent Frederick Bachman book that I read, and it was Beartown by Frederick Bachman. And this book deals with a incredibly, incredibly rough subject, sexual assault, and how a small town deals with it when it's like their star people that commits sexual assault. And I thought Frederick Bachman did a really good job at least showcasing the nuances that come from a whole town and not just one or two sides of a story, but when adults also have to deal with a young adult's sexual assault and all the ramifications that come from it instead of just the one act. And it's deep. It is incredibly deep. I found myself crying at certain points and then just it was a rough book. Is a rough book, not was. It is a rough book. And that's the most recent book that made me cry as of yesterday. So that's a thing. But then question 11, on a happier note, is what a book made you happy. And I'm just going to say the Heartstopper series by Alice Osman. I still need to read the fourth book that just recently came out, and I plan to finish that one today, hopefully. If not today, tomorrow. But every time I open that book, except for certain parts, I'm basically smiling from ear to ear. It's just such a heart-warming tale, and it's just the romance in it is, romances, I should say, are just really, really cute, and there's just, the characters are adorable, and it's a good series. It's a really good series. 12, question 12, the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And I have one with me. So this was a Christmas present that I received a little later after Christmas, so I'm gonna count that as this year. But I received the Poppy War series in the special edition where you kind of have the shine on some of the letters and the spine is decorated. And if you go on the inside, I assume all books are like that, but then each cover has a different artwork, I guess. And they're just gorgeous, and I love them, and I knew I would like these books picking up, or I guess I should say I hope. And then as I'm reading them right now, they're just phenomenal, and I'm so happy I have these gorgeous editions. But I usually don't seek out unique editions for myself. If I'm going to get one, it's going to be usually from a gift or something that's easily attainable, I guess. I don't really know how to describe it. But this is one that I am very happy I have a special edition from. And they're gorgeous. And then the last question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? A lot. I need to read a lot of books. I'm just going to leave it at that. A lot of books. I mean, basically this whole shelf, that shelf behind me is my TBR. So like all of those I need to read, or I want to read by the end of the year. As I keep buying more and more, it's fine. It's fine. It'll happen, right? Ever-growing TBR, that's the curse of a reader. We're all good. Everything's fine and dandy. Okay, yeah, so that's my mid-year book freakout tag. I've read some great books so far, and I'm really excited to see what else I can read for the rest of the year. And I've had such a wonderful time watching everyone else's. I hope you enjoyed mine, and I will see you next time. Bye.